The three girls reportedly kidnapped in the Western Region capital for some weeks now have still not been found, and their families are continuing to mount pressure on the authorities to help locate them. We here at JoyNews are also continuing with our campaign to find the girls and would urge members of the public with information on the three girls to contact the nearest police station or simply call the police emergency number 191 or 18555. There is 15-year-old Priscilla Mantebia Kranchi, who was last seen on December 21 last year at Nkrofo. There is also 18-year-old Ruth Love Kwesing, who was last seen on December 4, 2018 at BU Junction. And then 21-year-old Priscilla Blessing Bentum, who went missing in August last year at Kansaburodo. Although police have a suspect in custody, Samuel Udotek Wills, they are also working with Interpol to eventually apprehend 4 other accomplices mentioned by the suspect. Western Region Police Commander DCOP Redeemer Vincent Dejo tells my colleague Kojo Yangsing the police is being meticulous with its investigations because of the complex nature of the case.
This is not just an ordinary case being investigated. Normally, if you look at the international arena, kidnapping cases are done by professionals, people who actually know what they are about. So when you are investigating cases of that nature, you must be articulate. Go step by step. You don't rush. If you rush, you sidestep a lot of things, and you go to court, they can throw your case away. So it is important to take time. You know, the affected family, they will be thinking police is not doing anything. But you realize that everything police is doing doesn't mean that we should go into public domain or even to them and tell them that this is what we are doing. It is never done anywhere. But in our social setting, the best thing we can do is that maybe once in a while we visit them, reassure them. That is what I have been doing. I invited them here at least twice, just to reassure them that we are on top of what we want to assist. So we are doing our best for the rescue of these children. There are 2 other victims. That was in December, from 2nd December into 4th December to 21st December. The first lady, the university student, that was our main focus initially. And we were trying to get information to build on this. You'll be going somewhere and then things will truncate. Then you have to slow down and try to put the pieces together to move forward. So when the 4th December issue happened, it has given us another thing to at least step up whatever we are doing together to put the pieces together. Missing person issue is different from when you come to kidnapping.
Okay.
In kidnapping, you don't know what has happened to the victim. You get me? You don't know whether they have gang rape her. You don't know whether she was subjected to a lot of sexual assault. You don't know whether she was subjected to inhuman treatment and all those things. Right. So immediately it is important for you to get to some information before you begin to put her picture or their picture into the public domain. But if not, you are creating problem for psychological problems for them in the future.
Minority spokesperson on Interior James Agaga says some members of Parliament have filed urgent questions seeking to drag the ministers for Interior and National Security before the committee in connection with the case. He spoke to Raymond Aqua on that front.
If there is a repetition, a second kidnapping, a third kidnapping,
in this case, 7 of them.
Absolutely. Yes. Then the matter then ought to engage national attention. At that point, the committee necessarily would intervene. The committee wouldn't intervene when just one incident has happened, and the police are investigating. You wouldn't expect the police to intervene. We wouldn't be talking about contract killings. Yes. If it was restricted to only one.
I get your point.
Absolutely.
But has your committee...
So there is no dereliction. There is no dereliction whatsoever on the part of the committee.
That can be proven in this case. Has the committee invited the Minister for Interior, the IGP,
remember that the committee itself hasn't been active because Parliament went on recess. No. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Called from
wait
recess
a minute.
to come and deal with matters before.
Wait a
the
minute.
most recent one was when they had to go and interrogate the banking scandal.
Raymond, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We all went on recess.
Yes.
Some members traveled out of the jurisdiction. Some other members went to their respective constituencies.
You couldn't establish quorum. Is that your excuse? When the Ghanaian lives that you sworn to protect, in this case, are there?
Can I land?
What you're telling me is that we couldn't establish quorum. They were outside the country.
Can I land?
Listen. Yes,
listen.
I got you.
The mandate to provide for our internal security is vested in the executive arm.
Oh,
wait a minute.
I guess I'm not doubting that.
It's vested in the executive arm. The president and his executive arm are the ones responsible for providing and maintaining the security of the country. The role of Parliament is to oversight them.
Yes.
Now, when you are performing oversight, tell me, there have been lapses. 7 girls have been abducted. The committee will meet at an appropriate time to interrogate the security ministers. In doing so, you need to gather sufficient facts with which to confront the ministers.
The Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Seth Champong, has however defended the police's handling of the kidnapping, insisting they are doing their best. He confirmed the committee will invite the security agencies to probe the issue when the House resumes sitting.
To go after the leads that they are offered, and we need to understand and appreciate the standard operating procedures of investigations. Every investigator under investigation in the line of duty are very economical with information. So we're not going to obtain enough information until we get them. Mind you, the kidnappers are within our fold. And so if you are working and you get intelligence and you just throw it out there, you give your leads out. So let's bear with the police service. The service is doing its best. It is not easy to unravel some of these crimes. It takes time, and we have to be patient. And I plead with any person who have got information. Once you have that information, kindly let us have it. It will help all of us. Police deserve some additional time. But my only worry is that they must do this within the confines of our law, and they must do this within some efficient timing. Efficiency is of essence here. That you can listen to the narratives. I've had occasion to watch a documentary, multimedia documentary, on what has been happening in Takoradi, and I've listened to some direct relations of the victims, and it's natural they have to speak with such level of passion. But that notwithstanding, we are working within a particular realm, and let's appreciate their way of doing things, and we should all be on the side of positivity and ensure that we gain and gain and gain.
For those who may be panicking following all the developments in Takoradi, your message to them would be, we've seen the inauguration of a cross-border management agency a while ago. How does all of that fit into the strategy to deal with it?
No, basically, yes, we need to have a common operating procedure, and this is part of the integration exercise which our services are really doing. And I support this initiative because it's the part of the security governance initiative, and we have to ensure that we have a common procedure so that if an immigration officer accosts any culprit, a police officer accosts any culprit, a customs officer accosts any culprit, national security operative accosts any culprit, we are all speaking the same language. So it is not viewed and seen as we speaking from different perspectives.
Well, in the last few hours, a number of pieces of information have come through to us which indicates that it is possible that we may be dealing with an entirely different case altogether, and not so much about kidnapping, but leaning more towards human trafficking. My colleague Kojo Yangting, he has been on the ground all this while in Takoradi, and he joins me on the phone, and he's going to be sharing those insights with us. So, Kojo, can you piece it all together for us, this emerging trend we're gathering?
Sure, Israel. This is the sort of cumulated effect of bits of intelligence we've been picking up from our sources within the police and, of course, from our own understanding of some of the international crimes that, unfortunately, Ghana sometimes gets caught up in. Now, first of all, the important thing to note is that this individual who is the prime suspect at the moment, Samuel Will, is not a Ghanaian national. He doesn't have friends or family members in Ghana.
Yeah.
He was known to be living in a particular community in Takoradi, but in that community, he was living alone. He knew people in the area. He obviously liaised and communicated with these girls. Now, this seems to fit with a particular modus operandi that is emerging across the globe for people traffickers. What they do is that they will first of all cultivate their target. So they will make friends with you. They will talk about the possibility of traveling abroad or, making some money, going away on a holiday, exploring the world. They tend to target young people who are not very exposed, who don't have a lot of exposure, who haven't traveled much, who don't know how the world works so much. So that naivete is very fertile ground for them to plant the seeds of adventure. Now, once those seeds are firmly planted, what they tend to do is they will lure you away from your family, from the area where you are safe.
Yeah.
But they will buy your cooperation so that they can travel across borders with you without you being a burden. So they don't have to drug you and tie you up and throw you in the boot of a car where you might be discovered. They can walk across the border with you in full cooperation because you believe that you and them are off on an adventure going somewhere interesting and nice.
All right. So, Kojo, how does that fit into this case?
Well, in this particular case, what we know is that these three persons that the police are currently investigating were all quiet, reclusive individuals. We also know that the suspect, when he was first arrested, actually led the police to two specific places, one in Koforidia and one in Kaswa. Now, it appears that at the time, the suspect may have believed that those were the places where these girls were being held. But perhaps at the time they went there with the police, he may have realized that the girls have been moved. Now, this suggests that if indeed we are dealing with people trafficking, then this gentleman, Samuel Wills, may simply be an agent, the sort of the public face or the front face of the operation.
Or the recruit.
That's right, the recruiter, who would go and find the girls that suit a particular description in terms of age and, body size and so forth. And then he would bring the girls to the kidnapping ring, who would then take care of their onward, whichever location their final destination may be. So if indeed that is the case, then it would explain why he thought the girls might be at these locations, but having taken the police there, would have realized that they are not. It would also explain a number of things. For example, it would explain why, after the second arrest, he may have been a lot less communicative with the police, because he would probably have realized that the group have left the shores of Ghana. And if that is the case, then he won't have a lot of information to share with the police. Now, of course, let's not forget that he has a criminal record in Nigeria for doing exactly this same thing, kidnapping. So, Israel, it makes you wonder why at the border, when he was entering Ghana, where we know that people are asked to fill forms where they must declare whether they have a criminal record or not, it would appear that he did not divulge that information. Otherwise, we would have expected our immigration to be fully aware of his record. All
right. Thank you very much, Kojo Yankson. Now, we also have on the line Director of System Reforms of the International Justice Group. She is Ama Amankwa, the International Justice Mission's Ama Amankwa. She joins us on telephone now. Thank you very much, Ama, for joining us. Now, you have heard what Kojo Yankson has had to say about this case so far, and the fact that it's beginning to look like, well, not so much like kidnapping, but probably human trafficking. You have some experience when it comes to this. Do you see what may be happening, or do you believe that indeed there may be a trend or a case of human trafficking in this instance?
Thank you very much, Israel. Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners. Human trafficking takes various forms, yes, and I do have some experience in terms of how this whole thing works. And so if we are looking at it as being a human trafficking crime rather than kidnapping, there should be reasons why we feel the crime has morphed now and is no longer a kidnapping situation, but it's a trafficking situation. There may be several reasons why we are now at a point where we are thinking perhaps they have been, taken across the border, or perhaps indeed they may even still be internal, because human trafficking is not just a cross-border crime. It can also be an internal crime as well. And so it could be trafficking if you look at it. The trend is something that you see more often when it comes to commercial sexual exploitation, where the victims are not aware of what is happening because they are lured, and then when they get to the destination, that's when they find out exactly what has happened to them.
All right, exactly. Amma, you talk about they being lured. These are ladies. These are females, 3 females. And from what the police have told us, it appears that the suspected ringleader, or the person who kidnapped them, had a relationship with them and managed to win their trust. So they were not exactly abducted, but they were asked or lured into a particular location before they disappeared.
Yeah. So that is a common trend, like I said, when it comes to commercial sexual exploitation in trafficking. This is one of those common trends where they are lured into thinking that they are going somewhere to do something. The person, maybe the agent in between, or perhaps even the ringleader, has lured them into thinking they are taking them to another country for greener pastures, or has given them promises of a job abroad or something. And then they go willingly, as Kojo was trying to explain. So they don't raise any alarm. They are not kicking and shouting. They seem to be very happy, and then they are taken away. It is only when they reach their destination that they actually find the situation in which they've landed. And then they realize, oh, my God, I am a victim, and I am stuck in this situation. So it could well be trafficking, but I think what I could say about that is that what we then need, if we think this could be trafficking, is interagency collaboration, and then also some international collaboration if we suspect that they may have been taken across the border. And we share borders with, I think, 3 countries, and so we should start liaising, but definitely interagency, not just our security services. We need immigration on board as well, port authorities as well. It's going to have to be interagency collaboration, not just the police now.
All right. Thank you very much, Amma Amankwa. And Amma Amankwa has been sharing some insight with us. She's with the International Justice Missions. You're watching JoyNews Prime.